good. How y'all doing? How everybody doing? You are now tuned in to The Chosen One by Ashley. I'm here with my wife, of course. But at the moment, I'm going to speak to y'all. Of course, my name is Conscious. And today's subject is about how you shouldn't allow money to destroy what you're trying to build with a great partner. That's amazing, isn't it, honey?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Very amazing, Now, what touches my spirit about this subject and why I find this subject is so interesting is because a lot of people sometimes tend to allow who makes more money than the other to destroy their foundation of their household. People fall out over money. Couples all the time fall out over money. That's regular couples that fall out over money, engaged couples that fall out over money, and married couples that fall out over money. And that is very, very interesting and it's very, very sad at the same time. So that is the reason why I chose to speak on this topic. Now, I'm going to just speak what comes to heart. Now, let me tell y'all, you should never allow money to destroy what you're trying to build with somebody. The reason why is because when you sit there and make more money than the other spouse, I don't believe that you should allow that to destroy what you're trying to build. And at the end of the day, if somebody is trying, if you're with somebody, say for example, the person you with makes maybe $20,000 a year, but you might make $90,000 a year. You should never, ever, ever, ever compare yourself to that person. Yes, you might make more money than they do. Yes, you might be able to pay more bills than they do. But at the end of the day, they're bringing something home and they're contributing, and that's all that matters. Instead of y'all going to war with each other, y'all should be coming together and helping one another, growing together, trying to build a foundation together, trying to have a future together. That's the most important thing. Let me tell you something. See, I remember myself, when I was younger, at one point, I thought it was always about the money. I always used to think it was always about the money. Everything was always about money to me. When I was in the streets, I used to do things for money. I was always about money. It was always about the money to me. I didn't care. I was out here wilding in the streets. I didn't care nothing about nothing as long as I made a dollar, as long as I brought home some money. And me in the past, that's all I cared about. But as I got older, I realized it's not always about money. If you find somebody that care about you, that loves you for you, that is way more important than anything. What you think, honey? Is that more important?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Having somebody that care about you is way more important. It's way more important to have a partner who is willing to build with you no matter how much money they make than to sit there and focus on the fact that you make more money. Don't allow your ego to destroy something that could be long term. See, people allow their egos to destroy something that's long term, you know, and when they allow their egos to destroy something that could be long term, they end up with short term. Then people be sitting around telling some, I want a partner, I want somebody I can build with, I want this, I want that. But see, when God sends you a partner that you can build with, somebody that loves you, somebody that cares about you, and at the end of the day, you push them away. Now I'm gonna speak to the men. I'm gonna speak to the men. I'm gonna let my wife speak for the women. Men, if you make up more money than your woman, you have no right, at the end of the day, to mistreat her. Our women are here to love us, to help uplift us, to help build us. We was raised by women. Some of y'all were raised by a woman, some of y'all weren't. Everybody didn't have a mother growing up. But for those men who were raised by a woman, you know that you should respect your woman. If when you come home you got a meal at the table every day, that's all that should matter. When you come home, if your woman has your shower running, that's all that should matter. When you come home and you stressed out and she rubbing your shoulders and she talking to you about your day, that's all that should matter. The fact that you make more money than your woman, whether that's your girlfriend that you live with, your fiance that you live with, or your wife, that don't give you no right to be disrespectful or mistreat your woman. Just because you feel like you the breadwinner in the house and she don't make that much, or because you're the breadwinner in the house and she stays home. Okay, maybe she stays home and she looking for a job, or maybe y'all got kids together, she stay home with the kids because you work a lot and don't have time to be at home all the time. But your wife is contributing something, and that's all that should matter. Us as men, we're supposed to be the breadwinners of the house. But sometimes it don't always work out that way. But if you are the breadwinner, respect your woman and appreciate your woman for what she brings to the table. Don't allow what you have going on to destroy that. So you get blinded, you get so blinded by the fact that you make more, you get so egotistic, but then when you lose your woman, you sitting around and you crying about it. You sitting around and you're upset, but you didn't never take time out to think about the fact that you didn't respect her feelings. You didn't sit around, you didn't sit to take the time out to think about the fact that you didn't respect how she felt about things. You don't even sit down and take the time out to think, like, what am I doing? Because you don't even look at it like if your father did that to your mother, how would you feel? If a man did that to your mother or your grandmother, how would you feel about it? We got to respect our women more. Women go through a lot of things. A lot of things. They got to birth kids. We don't have to carry the kid. We don't know how it feels. We're not the ones who experience the cramping. We're not the ones who experience the vomiting. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we get little symptoms, but we don't go through what they go through. Women have periods and all kind of other things that us men don't. Women go through a lot to bring our children in the world. Women go through a lot just as a woman on a day-to-day basis, month to month. You know, even if you wasn't raised in your household by your mother, you still had your grandmother somehow. You still had an auntie, so you got to understand. You got to be more respectful to your woman. Just because you bring more money home don't mean nothing. Pay the bills, make sure your household's straight, and focus more on having a happy home. Because the way that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to lead. See, that's the problem. Men, a lot of us men, we want submissive women, but we don't want to respect our women. How you want your woman to be submissive and want your woman to be all these things to you, but you don't respect your woman enough? That doesn't make any sense. I know a lot. I got a lot of homies. You know, I'm from the streets. Those who know Conscious, those who seen me on here a couple times know I'm from the streets. I got a couple of homies who be out here, and I be seeing them all the time. They talking to their girl. Yeah, they be hustling in the streets. They make a lot of money. You know, their girl be at home, you know what I'm saying, with the kids and stuff like that. When they be talking to them, they be talking to them any kind of way. Sometimes I got to pull my man to the side, be like, man, you know, let me holler at you real quick. Slim, that ain't it right there. Like, come on, man, you don't got to talk to her like that. Like, that woman love you. That woman at home right now waiting on you, Slim. You ain't got to go about like that. Respect your woman. Don't sit there and ask yourself, don't sit there around asking God for a submissive woman, asking God for a real woman, and then turn around and you get one, and you allow the fact that you're making more to destroy what you're trying to build. Don't sit around and allow your ego, forget the money, don't allow your ego to destroy what you're trying to build with somebody. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of women out here. Yeah, there is a lot of women out here. But the question is that pretty woman that's out there is she gonna make you smile like your woman at home do? Is that beautiful woman that you see walking down the street, is she gonna be there if you get sick and nurse you back to health? Is that beautiful woman who out there gonna please you like the woman at home do? Is that woman who out there gonna go out her way for you? You gotta ask yourself that sometimes. Us as men, we don't think about them things. We always caught up in the fantasy of things. We always get caught up in the fact of, oh, I like to hit that. You know what I'm saying? I like to do this, I do like to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's all just lust. Don't allow lust to destroy what you have going on at home. Couple of seconds of pleasure could be a lifetime full of pain. See, a lot of people don't realize that there's somebody out there for everybody. But when you find your soulmate, when you really find your soulmate, and God sends that person who for you, if you mess that up, you're not going to find that again. We only get our soulmate once. That's why a lot of people who keep getting remarried, they can't get it right. They marry the right person, they mess up. When they mess that up, they meet somebody else and try to remarry somebody else to replace that person or the thought of that person because they get lonely, and they cannot get it right. They can't be as happy as they was when they had the right person that God sent to them. Like I said, back to the money subject. Men, if you're making more money than your woman, do not allow that factor alone to destroy what you're trying to build. Because your woman is contributing too. Every time she keeping that house clean, that's a contribution. Every time she taking the kids back and forth to daycare, that's a contribution. Every time your woman is helping out with the bills, meaning that she's taking the money that you're giving her, making sure the bills get covered because you don't have enough time to do it because you work so much. That's contribution. So every time that your woman doing something like that, she contributing. If your woman works, so what if she don't make as much money as you? She putting up something. She's doing something. When y'all both make money, y'all supposed to use that money and build together. Who cares who makes the most money? Who cares if the man is making the most or if the woman making the most? If y'all can have the most, y'all can have a very, very powerful future if y'all put y'all heads together and plan it out instead of sitting there and worrying about.
Yes, my husband, he's absolutely right. Yes, right. Yeah, so I want to say this for the ladies. When me and my husband, when we was boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, you know, he didn't have a lot of money in the beginning. So what I did was I knew that he needed clothes and shoes. I knew he needed that. But I didn't the way I did it, I didn't do it in a funny way. I just said, you know what? I'm working, I got a job, so let me give him some money. I ain't talking about no $5, y'all. I'm talking about I gave this man some money. I'm talking about $400, $500. I said, go buy yourself some clothes. Go buy yourself some shoes. We was friends. We was going out. We was boyfriend, girlfriend. I said, you know what? Let me start taking care of him. Let me help him. You know, I don't know. God just wanted me to help him and stuff. Now he helping me out. And what goes around comes around. You got to watch how you treat people. You got to watch how you do people because guess what? One day you don't know who you may have to pay back. So we have to be careful how we treat people. Yes. Hi, sis. Alice. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So, yes, that's what I had did for my husband years ago. I'm telling them how I took you to the mall years ago, honey. And yeah, bought him some clothes and shoes,
Yeah,
everything.
could I stop hustling? Did you tell him why?
Yeah,
Could I stop
gave
hustling in
him
the street?
gave him some money and say, look, go get yourself some shoes and clothes and do what you need to do. And he thought I was playing when I gave him the money. I said, here,
Yeah,
this the money.
that's cause I stopped hustling in the streets. You wanted me to, you wanted me to stop hustling. You didn't want me on the block making money that kind of way no more because you was afraid something was gonna happen. So you said, get out the streets.
He was in the streets. So he got out the street. I wanted him to change. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him to change. I wanted him to stop doing wrong. Doing things that was wrong. And
She said, did he work?
no,
No, I was not working. I was actually at that time. I was actually in the streets. Getting in trouble, doing what I had to do to make money at the time. We were young. This is back in 2000 and what year was that? 2015. This is
yeah,
back in 2015. Yeah.
yeah. One thing about it, we had money. Shoot, we always had money.
And let me tell you something. When I did stop hustling, I'm not gonna lie. When I did stop hustling and I stopped doing the things that I was doing in the streets, when she had to take care of me, I'm not gonna lie. It did take some getting used to. It was hard on me at first, but I respected it. What made you change? That's a good question. Thanks for asking. What made me change is because I chose love. I've been in the streets for a long time. I was in the streets mostly my whole life. So to make a long story short, the fact that I actually, I done been through it all. I done had the women and all that. I done been with all the women. I done had the money. Done been there, done that. Basically, I lived a fast. Basically, I done lived most of what a lot of adults do in their lifetime in a young age. So to me, when I met her, it was a no-brainer. She was different. The fact that she brought something different to the table and she ain't want me for what I had in my pocket and actually treated me right, I wanted to change for her, but it was not an easy process. It took some time, but I actually managed to do it. So that's what made me change at that time back then. Yeah. So that's exactly what made me change. But I'm gonna tell y'all it wasn't easy. And when it happened at the time, when I first got out the streets, it wasn't easy for me because when I first got out the streets, I went from at first I had money because I had a little bit of money put away, but like I said, I was living so fast and so young, so I didn't think about the long game. Because the way I saw it was I wasn't gonna make it to see 30 years old. I wasn't gonna make it to see 40 years old. So my motto at the time had always been live fast and die young. So when I got out the streets, I had a little money saved up, but not too much. So once that money ran out, I had nothing. So I had to depend on my woman to take care of me. And I was trying to get my life right. I didn't know much about job applications. I ain't know much about that. How to fill out an application, how to go in and do interviews, how to get yourself together. I didn't even know much about church. I ain't know much about God or none of that stuff. My wife at the time, who was my lady, just my girlfriend, had introduced me to all that type of stuff. I had to get used to being a regular person. Like my wife, who was my girl at the time, who's now my wife, she went and bought me clothes, like she said at the mall. She took me to the mall, was keeping my hair cut, doing different things for me. And it wasn't always easy because in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, it took a toll on her as well. Because she had to take care of me. I went from being the one who had all the money, to being the one who didn't, because I used to take care of her even though she had her own money. Then she had to take care of me. So when she was taking care of me in the beginning, it took a toll on her after a while because I didn't get my stuff right overnight. For a while, it took me a while to, figure out how to get a job, figure out how to do this, figure out how to do that. So she took care of me for a while, but then it started taking a toll on her. But we got to a point where we realized, like, what are we doing? We're not about to let money destroy what we're trying to build. We're not gonna allow this to get in our way. You know what I'm saying? We were young. We weren't up in age. We wasn't mature like we are now. We was young back then. So we didn't know how to really handle those type of things because we had started living together at a young age. You see what I'm saying? So, and then my mentality was different from her. When you got two different personalities, it ain't easy to put up with. So we had to learn how to work together to be able to grow together. And that was not an easy job. Because when you're not with a person all the time, it's easier for y'all to spend time together, get along, and do things together. But when you live with a person, you really start to learn the good things about them, the bad things about them, what they like, what they don't like, what annoys them, what don't annoy them. You start to see sides of them you didn't know you were going to see. Then y'all have to learn how to take those different things about each other and learn how to make them mend and work together. And that's what we had to learn. And that was not easy. It was not easy at all. So what I say to y'all is, in my honest opinion, I'm speaking to the men. Men, respect your woman, appreciate what she do. Whatever she brings to the table, be thankful for what she brings to the table. Appreciate that, cherish that, and love your woman for who she is. Don't worry about what she don't have. Don't worry about what she don't do. If you feel some type of way about something, talk to her about it. Find a way to fix the problem. Like I said, love, if you want a long-term relationship, you want a long-term marriage, no matter what type of background you come from, what type of background you are into, no matter what type of life you into, or no matter what y'all doing to make your income, and no matter how your life is, if y'all want a long-term relationship, y'all have to talk about it. Y'all have to focus on growing together. Y'all have to plan that stuff out. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck. And love is not about staying stuck. It's about growing. That's why you're supposed to set goals. Us as men, a lot of us come from, backgrounds, where the father was abusive to the mother, or, mom was on drugs, or, we grew up in the hood where the drug dealers was our parents, the hustlers, the killers. A lot of us men come from that type of background. So all our life, all we know is pain. So when we meet us a good woman, we don't know how to appreciate it. We don't know how to take it in because all our life we've been forced to have a shield around us. For a lot of men who grew up in decent homes, Some of y'all grew up in a home where y'all was in the suburbs. Maybe your dad did make good money. Maybe your mom made good money. But sometimes you saw your father abuse your mother. And watching that at a young age can be very traumatizing. Just like a lot of women grow up and they see their mother getting abused. That's very traumatizing. Even if your father wasn't present, you see your mother be with a man who does do that. You might have took that man in and accepted him as your stepfather or something. But just seeing how you treat your mother, that's traumatizing. So when you look up to somebody, you see that type of stuff growing up, you end up growing up and you end up thinking that's the way to go, but it ain't. It ain't. It ain't. See, one thing about money can't buy love, and money cannot keep love. It cannot. The only way that money can keep love is if your woman don't love you. A lot of women don't care. They all for the money. They don't care. Yo, you can go out and cheat. You can go out and do this. You can go out and do that. As long as you bring that bag home. As long as I can go buy a Gucci bag. As long as I can do this. A lot of men don't care what they women do. Oh, I know she out with that dude. Oh, I know she got this and that. I don't care. Shorty keep me fly. I ain't tripping. Shorty be making sure I got the fly ride. I ain't tripping. A lot of men, that's how they go about it. A lot of women, that's how they go about it. But money cannot buy real love. If you really want longevity, you want somebody to love you, you gotta be with somebody who loves you for you. Appreciate the partner you had. It ain't about the money. It's about what you're trying to build and how you treat somebody. That need to be the main focus. Communication need to be the main focus. Growth need to be the main focus. How can you motivate a man to want to grow out the streets? That's a good question. How can you motivate a man to want to grow out the streets? Well, if you want to motivate a man to grow out the streets, I'm gonna tell you firsthand, just as somebody that come from that and that live that life. Pressing them out to do it, that's not the answer to get that to happen. That's not the answer at all. Pressing them out is not going to solve your problem. Sitting there and saying, oh, I want you to get out, or leave the streets alone, do this and do that, that ain't the answer. You have to be, first off, you have to be in their corner, for one. Number two, you got to basically talk to them. Tell them why you feel like they should get out the streets. Don't press them out about it. Just tell them that you got a gut feeling. If a man, let me tell you something. If a man love you enough, and if you a good woman, if you telling him something that makes sense, he gonna listen to you. He might not say much at that moment, but he gonna respect where you coming from. You gotta be willing to show him something that's bigger than the streets. You gotta bring something to the table that's bigger than the streets. And the biggest thing that you can bring to the table is your heart. You need to put, and then on top of that, I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of men, we don't want to hear it. We so caught up in a life, and all we know is the life, so we don't want to get out. Sometimes we just don't want it. This all we know. That's all we ever known. The only person who could really help a man get out the streets, if you talking to them and you try that ain't working, is God. You're going to have to put prayer in your life. I'm going to tell you straight up. My wife had to do a lot of praying for me. A lot of praying. I did not, like I said, 24 KJ, like I said, I did not get out the streets overnight. I can't tell you how many times my wife came to me and said, I want you to leave the streets alone. I can't tell you how many times she told me, some of your homies you hanging with, they not solid for real. I can't tell you how many times she had nightmares that certain things would happen to me that happened. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the phone with my wife a couple times back then, and we was talking on the phone. She'll talk to me until I'm leaving, I'm going in the house, and we'll talk until I get back to the house. And I've been on the phone with my wife a couple times when I was out there doing what I was doing, and I didn't know it, because she'd tell me before I leave out the door, she'd be like, I got a funny feeling that something gonna happen today. I had a dream that you was gonna get shot. I had a dream this was gonna happen. I had a dream that was gonna happen. Then I'm on the block and I'm talking to her, and out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, babe, hold on for a second. I'm reaching in my pocket like this, holding on in my pocket, got my you-know-what in my pocket, and all of a sudden, I know, I'd be like, hey, hold on real quick, and all of a sudden, all she'll hear is, pop, 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 pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took a while. She had to do a lot of praying for me. And it just happened that one day, God showed me something that made me say, you know what? It's time for me to leave him alone. I left him alone at that time. It was not easy for me to do. It took some time for me to leave the streets alone. So all I'm gonna say to you, 24 KJ, is praying, praying. And even when you pray and it seems like it's not working, keep talking to God. You gotta really put your faith in God. You gotta put your heart into it when you pray. And you have to trust him. Hey babe, 24KJ said that you are so strong. And she said both of us. She said she's so strong and both of y'all are strong.
Yes, thank you.
She said thank you. You heard her? She said thank you. But yeah, so prayer is definitely the answer. My wife also got me into praying. I didn't change overnight, we separated for a while. For those who don't know our story, I'll break it down to you in the shortest way. We had our son in 2016. So I've been with my wife since I met her in 2015. Like I said, we started living together early. We had our son Andrew, who is now 7, in 2016, and then 2 years later, 2018, we separated. And when we separated, I was so hurt. I was going through my modes. I'm speaking for myself, of course. I'm not gonna speak about for her feelings. She can only speak for herself. I know what she went through, but I'm gonna let her speak for herself. But like I said, I was so hurt. I was going through my emotions. Like I said, at the I didn't have I didn't have too many people in my life that cared about me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had too many people that was in my corner. You see what I'm saying? So when I lost her, I felt like I had nothing. So I went back to what I knew. I was right back in the streets. Right back in them streets. I was seeing my son. I was still being in his life, but I was right back in those streets. All the way from 2018, all the way up until, what was it, 2020, 2021. Yeah, 2020, 21, no, 20, going into 22, going into 2022. I was still in them streets. Because my son, when he was 11, I promised him I was going to get out the streets. And I think I talked about that on one of my recent lives when I took over for my wife, because she wasn't feeling well about how my son was getting in trouble in school. And I saw what I was doing out there in the streets and how it was affecting my son. So I left the streets alone again. But see, it's funny because even I was still in and out for a little bit, even though I left the streets alone. I was still every now and then going back to make money. But guess what? God slowed me down. Let me tell y'all why God slowed me down. My wife was really praying for me without me knowing. Remember, this at the time when me and my wife was not together. She was still praying for me. She was praying to God because she was telling God, like, I still love him. I want him to be safe. I don't want nothing to happen to him. God, please get him out that life. Get him out that life. Please bring him back to me. She was praying for me without me even knowing this. And then it's funny because God sat me down. I got sick. And I got sick to a point that my health was deteriorating. And I ended up having to get surgery. So after I got surgery, I ended up after that happened, I ended up in a coma and I ended up in the transitional world. To make a long story short, when I was in the transitional world, it's for those who don't know, I'm gonna tell y'all, like I did on that one live when I took over. The transitional world is a pit stop between heaven and hell. It's somewhere that you go to, that God, that basically your spirit goes to, that is that you sit there until it's decided if you're gonna transition over, or if you get to come back to life. If you get to come back to earth, or if you transition over forever. So I was in the transitional world. And while I'm in the transitional world, I start off in heaven, and then I went over to hell. The devil tricked me, so I ended up in hell. So while I'm there, I'm going through all these things, but God is still walking me through. Even though the devil trying to take me over, God is still walking me through. And it's funny because as God is walking me through, and God is still walking me through. It's funny because in the end, I'm going through all these different things. And when I'm going through these different things, it's crazy because at the time, I remember there was this little trick that was ran on me. I'm gonna tell y'all a little quick story. I don't like to tell long-term stories. I try to keep them short for y'all. So as I'm in the transitional world, I'm going through all these different tests. See, to y'all, this sound like a crazy story, but you never know until you go through it. I know a couple people who've been to the transitional world. My father been to the transitional world before. I heard stories about it. So I already knew where I was heading. So when I went in the transitional world, my biggest fear before I went into the transitional world was I was going to get too comfortable. When you get too comfortable in the transitional world, you transition over. Because you never know what you're going to see down there. You might see family members you ain't seen in a long time. You might be down there, doing some things that you might feel so free. It just feel like you down there seeing things that you ain't get to see when you was on earth. Doing things that you ain't get to do when you was on earth. And you getting too comfortable doing that, your spirit gets too comfortable there. whether you in heaven or you in hell or you in between, and you end up transitioning and walking wherever you go. So anyway, back to myself, make a long story short, right? So I'm in the transitional world. I'm going through all these different tests. I ain't gonna break them down because that's a long story. I'm going through all these different tests, but this one story I'm gonna tell y'all. Remember, like I told y'all, my wife was praying for me at the time. She was not my wife. We had been separated for a while, but she kept praying for me. So I'm going through all these different tests, and this one test that I was going through was a test where I was being brought across all my exes. And the devil, he was like, tell your exes that you need them to do something for you, or you're gonna die. And you're gonna stay here forever. Just do it. Like I said, you get tested. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it or whatever. I'm gonna do it. So I'm going through all these different exes and stuff, and I'm telling them these things, and they just laughing. Some of them laughing like it's a joke, like they want me to suffer. You know what I'm saying? They saying all these different things, and I'm finding out like, oh, I only liked him because he had this. I only liked him because he was good at this. I only liked him because of this and that third. You know what I'm saying? All these different things I ain't even know. No funny. And I'm keeping it real with y'all, because those who know conscious, those who know me, know I keep it real. I keep it 100. I keep it 1,000. Some of them women were my own kids' mothers. I was surprised. I still got respect for them, but I was surprised at what I saw. Because it's funny, because some of the things that I saw down there applies to right now that I didn't know. Now I'm starting to see it. That's crazy, right? How I saw it early, right? But it's facts. But here's the thing. I come across my wife. Remember, my wife had been praying for me all this time before I even got sick, asking God to slow me down. While I'm in the transitional world, she crying every day. I don't know this. I didn't know this till I woke back up, but until I came back. But my wife was crying for me. At the time, she wasn't my wife, right? But she was praying for me, crying for me, asked God to help me. So I'm down in transitional world. I come across my wife. So I'm asking her, the devil, like, go ahead, ask her the same question. So at the time I ask, I say what I say to her, right? I ask her the question, and she say, if you think that if you think or that I was with you for this, you're wrong. If you think I care about what you got, you're wrong. And I was just like, huh? So she was like, I love you for you. I loved you for who you were. I just didn't know how to show it. And at the time, I didn't like how you was moving and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to appreciate it. I wish we would have did better. Like, I love you, and I always will. You don't understand. I care about you more than anything else, other than our own son, other than our kids. I don't care about nothing but you. And then she told the devil, she was like, I always loved him. And I was just like, wow. I'm just like, wow. And it's crazy because I heard a voice from God. Here go God, coming out of nowhere. God like, you see? That's the woman you need to be with right there. That's the woman you should have been with. That's the woman you should have chose. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, dang, like she really loved me. I'm in the transitional world. Now, you got to remember, before I went in the transitional world, when we wasn't together, I was out here in these streets still every now and then. I was running from woman to woman before I got sick. I'm not lying. I'm keeping it a stack with y'all. I had different women before I got sick. So I'm in the transitional world, and I see this, and I'm like, wow. All the same women I was running back and forth with, I saw in the transitional world. They laughed at me. But the woman who I married now was the only one who said she cared. The only one who was willing to do the question that I asked and told me I ain't with you for none of that. I was with you because I love you. I still love you. That's the power of prayer. She was able to send her message, how she felt, her feelings, through God to me in the transitional world. And that's what made me fight to stay alive. Because I ain't going to lie to y'all. When I was in that situation, I got a little comfortable in the transitional world. I was ready to transition over because I was tired. I had lived my whole life in pain. The streets was all I know. And the streets, they tear you up. The life I was living, I was ready to go. So for me to see that, it made me have a reason to fight. I had a reason to fight. And I fought hard. Then when I was down there, I saw my kids, and I fought 12 times harder after seeing my kids. But I told myself, if I make it out this, I'm going to marry that woman. And let me tell y'all, When I woke up in the beginning, I didn't have my memory right. Cause when I first called my wife, no. Let me tell you how it happened. My wife called me in the hospital, right? This is when I got the tube taken out my throat after I had went through all the pain of recovering, going through all these different things. My wife had called me in the hospital, but my memory was messed up. My memory's messed up. My memory took a hit from the surgery. I'm no longer in the transitional world. I fought hard to get out the transitional world and I made it out. God brought me back. So my wife called me and she calls me, right? And she calling me and she's like, hey or whatever. So when she calling me, I'm like, who's this? I don't remember. I'm like, who's this? She's like, it's your baby mother. I'm like, oh, what's up? You know, we talking and everything. I was excited to hear from her. But it took me a minute to adjust to who she was. But the more she didn't give up on me, she called me every day, talked about memories until I remember everything. When I remember everything, I went back and I thought for a second. I said, you know what? I said, you know what's crazy? Because I started getting my memory back slowly but surely because she helped me to do that. That's a real woman. Come here, babe. Come here. Let me let them see you real quick. This woman right here, I love this woman. This is a real woman right here. This woman really, every day called that hospital. It didn't matter what memories she had to bring up. She brought up memories about us. She brought up memories about my life from when I was in the streets. Memories that she known since she been there, since she had been there. About my family, the funny memories. My family was there sometimes, yeah, but they weren't doing all that. They were just checking on me, talking to me. The only one who was really at the hospital most was my mother. But my wife is the one who brought most of my memories back. That's a real woman right there. So the more she was bringing my memories back, I told her, I said, you know what's crazy? She said, what? I said, you know, when I was in the transitional world, I saw you. She said, you did? I said, yeah. I said, because when y'all was in the transitional world, you was telling me all these different things. And I told her what it was. And she said, yeah, I was praying for you. I was talking to God. I was crying. I was telling God to bring you back to me. And if you brought you back, I was going to love you the right way. I told her, I said, I fought hard to come back to you. I told her, I love you. And ever since then, we've been locked in. I married her, made her my wife. When I got better, I married her. And it's the best decision I made. Don't get me wrong. Marriage ain't easy. We go through our ups and downs. There's times when I got more money. There's times when she got more money. But we don't care who has the most money as long as we have each other. That's what matters the most. It's me and her having each other's back. So cute, so cute. Your love, y'all love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trigonometry XYZ. Trigonometry XYZ. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. You know, a lot of people hear our story. We tell people our story all the time. You know, we've been thinking about, you know, possibly writing a book, you know, some more things. So we appreciate that. A lot of people say that our story is deep and it's very unique. You know, I love this woman right here. Don't get me wrong, we go through ups and downs, but I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for her. She saved my life. I didn't know too much about the church. You see, I got on here today to talk to y'all. I'm a street dude. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm from the streets. I ain't know. I told my wife before I got on here. She's like, "Why don't you talk to them today?" She's like, "God telling me that you should talk to them." And I'm like, "I keep telling you every time you ask me to take over. This ain't what I do. This is your thing. I'm not a prophet." She's like, "Well, God got a calling on you. Talk to them. Just let God talk to you. Talk through you. You know." And I do it. Like I said, I just speak from the heart. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I'm from the streets. I'm not no prophet. I'm not the best Christian, but I'm working on myself, trying to better myself every day. Thank you, standing in the gap for my husband right now. We are divinely separated. Jesus will bring us back together. Yeah, you know, stay patient. All I would say to you about that is definitely, you know, stay patient. You know, pray, put in the work. Y'all work it out. Talk to your partner. Talk to your partner. Figure out where y'all went wrong at, and what tell them if you feel like that this stuff that they were doing that was causing problems and what was causing problems, talk to them about it. Hear them out about why, and then you explain how you feel. Take your time. Work it out. Y'all can come back together. Believe in that. Speak that into existence. It will happen. Yes, sir. He said you want to split, but Jesus will bring it back together more than ever before. Yeah, just take your time. Give it time. Just be the best woman you could be. Don't force it. Just give them in space for a minute. But don't be separated too long. Meaning that basically, give them time to breathe, but still call, check on them. If you want to see them, still schedule dates. Don't rush nothing. Just take your time with it. Let it bring itself back together. Work it out. Take your time. But yeah, but I love my woman and I'm thankful for her. Without her, I won't be who I am today. I'm still a work in progress. Like I said, I'm a street dude. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm getting better every day. I pray more. I'm more open minded. I don't have to hustle to make money no more. I make money. I don't have to hustle to do it no more. I don't gotta be out here toting guns, looking over my shoulder to do it. If it wasn't for my woman, I probably wouldn't be that way. On top of that, I wouldn't know nothing about God that much if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't even have hope for life if it wasn't for her. My woman has changed me in a lot of ways. We go through ups and downs, yeah. But am I going to leave my woman for another woman? No, I'm not. I would never leave my woman for another woman. Yeah, I be saying, my nickname ain't Fresh for no reason. They call me Fresh. They don't call me that for no reason. I never wear the same outfit twice in a week. Anybody see me on the street, guarantee you won't see me with the same outfit twice. You know what I'm saying? In a week at least. But I be seeing the women looking. I be seeing them. Even when I'm out with my wife, women look. I don't pay them no mind. You know why? Because the woman out here, they don't compare to the woman I got at home. Don't compare to my wife. I pledge my life to my wife. I ain't pledge my life to them. They ain't gonna love me like my wife do. They not gonna have my back like my wife do. If I get sick again, ain't no women gonna sit there at the hospital with me? No. Ain't no women gonna pray hard for me like she did? No. Ain't no women gonna try to fill my soul up like she did? No, they are not. I'm thankful for my wife and the life that I have now. I'm happy. Yeah, don't get me wrong. My life ain't fast motion like it used to be. Yeah, I be in the house a lot, being here with my kids. Sometimes it can be frustrating to be a parent, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade being in the house with my kids and my wife for nobody. I love it. I love it. I enjoy having a calm, peaceful life. I'm good with that. I still stay locked into the streets. I go hang out, but I don't be on the block too long. I go check on my good men and stuff like that, and I keep it moving. I don't stay posted up. I don't be out there too long. I pop up and I disappear. I'm like a ghost. I'm here and I'm gone. I don't got time to get mixed up in nothing. And my good men, they respect it. They understand. They get it. There's some of them that think it's funny though. They like, oh man, you done gone soft on us. No, I ain't get soft. I just grew up. It's called maturing. You know? I ain't got time. I'd rather be at home with my wife. I don't know about some of these other people, but I love coming home to my woman. I love coming home to my family. I don't got time to be locked up. Cause when you locked up, is any of them same boys who laughing at you, is they gonna send you money? Yeah, maybe in the beginning. But once the time go along, you gonna see. Money ain't gonna be coming through no more. Them letters ain't gonna be coming through no more. Is it worth it? No. If you in the grave and your kids are suffering, and they crying, they can no longer see you. Your partner crying can no longer see you. Is that worth it? No. I'm good with being at home. I'm good with that. I done did what I did in the streets. I done lived that life. It ain't where it's at. 24 KJ. Thank you. Thank you. She said, amen. Thank you. Did she pray for you? And trigonometry XYZ said, did she pray for you? And then you both reunited? What a miracle. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you ain't catch it at the beginning, but I'll say this the shortest version of how I can say it to you, trigonometry. Yeah, when me and her were separated, she prayed for me a lot. I didn't know she was praying for me at the time. I was running back and forth with different women, still out here in the streets from time to time before I got sick. But she had been praying for me, asking God to slow me down. God slowed me down by getting me sick. That was his way of making me change my life. And when I got sick, she was there every step of the way. None of these women who I was running around with was there for me. I had my brother call them before I had my surgery. None of them was there. My wife was calling every day. checking on me every day, being by my side every day, the best she could. She couldn't be at the hospital, but she stayed tuned in with me, stayed locked in with me. I didn't know she was praying for me heavy. She never told me until I woke up from that surgery and I got started getting my memory back. But I saw her in that transitional world, and when I saw her, they told me, God said, see, that's the woman you should have been with. That's the woman who love you. After everything that my wife said to me, compared to all my exes I saw in the transitional world, compared to all the women I was running around with that I saw in the transitional world, she was the only one who was down for me. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, women on here and men, the power of prayer is very powerful. It's very powerful. I'm a living testimony. I'm gonna tell y'all, pray. The power of prayer can do a whole lot for somebody that you care about. God has a funny way of slowing people down when it's time to slow them down. It might don't happen when you want it to, but it'll happen when it need to. Because had God didn't slow me down when he did, ain't no telling. Because it's funny because when I got sick, one of the people I was with all the time, one of my good men I was with all the time passed away. Something happened to him. I ain't gonna get into details about what happened. Well, he no longer here. Had I been with him, would I be here? My peoples got locked up one time. Had I been with them, would I still be out here free? What I have been doing time? There's a lot of things that God saved me from because of the fact that God has slowed me down when he did. I got a friend right now doing a long-term sentence. Would I be out here free and not doing that long-term sentence if God ain't slowed me down? No. But because my wife kept praying for me, God finally heard her, and God was always with me because I had always prayed from time to time. But I just didn't listen to God when he told me to slow down. But the power of prayer really works when you care about somebody. So 24KJ, I would say to you, keep praying for your man. Try to talk to him, but don't force it in his head to leave the streets alone. Just talk to him, show him that you there, show him that you care. Just try to say it in a way that don't feel forceful, that you don't want him in the streets, or just try to show him things or give him a way to get out the streets. Rather, that's building up a business for y'all. Find something he good at. Ask him what he good at. You know your partner. Figure out what he good at. Surprise him with something. If he good at clothing, if you got a little bit of money to invest in that, try to invest in it. Just a little bit. Or try to figure out something about stocks and stuff. There's all kind of ways you can figure out, a way to better your partner so that he don't have to be in the streets. You know, uh, God is using marriage for his glory. Yes, he is. Thank you, 24KJ. But that'll be my advice to you, and also pray it. Gotta get them out at the right time. Because on streets, there's only two ways out. Only two ways out. The grave or the jail. Trigonometry said I had certain words to him. Even prayer could truly turn it around. Even if he hurt, God will do a miracle like in marriage, like in your marriage. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Amen. Amen. Yeah. So, like I said, the power of prayer is very powerful. It's true. Shirley Brown said it's true. It is true. It really is. It really is. Like I said again to y'all. I said again to y'all. I'm a living testimony. If y'all don't hear from nobody else, if nobody else can prove that, show somebody this live when my wife save it. Go back and look at this live and show it to somebody so they can see. It does work. The power of prayer is real. When somebody love you, they really got your back. It's worth leaving that street life alone. 24KJ, maybe show your man this live. Real relate to real. Street dudes relate to street dudes. I can't say certain words on here. It's YouTube. But, street dudes relate to street dudes. Real recognize real. Maybe if he hear it coming from me, he'll leave the streets alone. Seeing that I've been in them. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But like I said, this might help. The power of prayer help. Put God first in your relationship. Put God first in your marriage. In the Bible, it always say, one of my favorite quotes in the Bible is, and one of the biggest things that my wife always tell me all the time, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. As long as you put God first, ain't nothing that he can't do for you. As long as you put him first in your relationship, your marriage, and in life itself. Like I said, money and marriage and relationships, it's good to have, but don't allow it to destroy the foundation that you're trying to build. Because like I said, in the end of the day, the only way for y'all to have growth or to go far is God. You can have money all day and the marriage don't work. You can have money all day and the relationship don't work. But if you have love and you put God first, it don't matter who makes the most. No matter how much money you have, you can get through anything. God will always make a way. I've been down before and God made a way for me. God's still making a way for me right now. I told you I don't hustle no more, but I'm making money. I'm not in the streets no more. I'm making money. God will always give you the tools that you need. Telling you, that's real talk. It's a trigonometry say how blessed you found a good wife and she found a good for God for her. And I pray my portion will be the same. God can do it. Thank you and your wife for inspiration. You're welcome. You're welcome. 24KJ said God will provide. Yes, God will definitely provide. God will definitely provide and God will definitely make a way. Definitely, definitely. Um, Before I go, I would like to show y'all my wife one more time. This is the woman who behind the face of this channel right here. This is the woman who talks to y'all every day. This is the woman who inspires y'all every day. So I would like her to just say a couple of words to y'all. And then before I go, I want to say one more thing to y'all, and I say a prayer, and then we gotta go because we gotta get back to our kids. But I just wanted to come out here. My wife asked me to come talk to y'all today, so I allowed God to talk through me. I just said what come to my spirit. Again, I'm not a prophet. This is not what I do. I'm not a pastor or none of that. You know, I'm from the streets. I'm just speaking from the heart and allowing God to flow through me as He teach us how to pray for our men. They want to know how to pray for their men, and somebody else said teach. And trigonometry want to speak to you as well.
Hi, welcome, welcome. Yes, yes. How would you pray for your man? You would go into your secret closet. You have to find a place in your home. It can be a place that you don't even use. Find a closet that you can use and start praying in it. And as you pray, you will put on that piece of paper, you will use a piece of paper, you will write the date, the time on it, and you will say a prayer. It can just be like, God, heal him, and you just put the date, the time that you prayed. So when God answer your prayer, you go back and say, God, I remember I prayed this prayer on this such day. Just that's how you pray for your that's how you pray for your husband, your boyfriend, whoever you may be praying for. You can be praying for somebody that's really sick, somebody that's just going through cancer, somebody going through some life issues. Prayer work, prayer change. Me, when I was praying for him, I mean, I was crying. I was like, Lord, you gonna have to keep me together, because I thought I was gonna fall out. My aunt Ashley she had to come over here and help me with my children, because I was crying and praying and I was fasting, and I was losing weight just to help him, get his life back in order. I'm like, Lord, I ain't never prayed for nobody like this. I ain't never in my life prayed for nobody like this. I'm telling you, I ain't never in my life prayed for nobody heavy like this, not like this. But I knew that I loved him. I knew that I cared. And I knew that I wanted to be with him. So I prayed and I asked God to, send him back to me and everything. And God did it. Prayer is the key. You have to pray. Prayer change everything. Make sure you pray for one another. Make sure you put God in your relationship. And like you said before, the money issue, you want to put love first. Money comes and go. Money is not everything. Money cannot do everything. Don't let money kill your relationship. Remember, love is everything you need. And just, like I said, surprise each other. You can go out once a month, twice a month on a date. Make some dinner, have a nice date in your house, take each other out. If someone have to say something, for and there was. Yes, amen. Even if he tells me, yes, yep, that's true. I had to, I'm not gonna lie, I had to change my mindset. My mindset, I really had to change my mindset to position myself in a way of how I felt about him. The way I was feeling about him, I knew that I loved him. I knew that I loved him. I knew that I cared. So instead of me, I mean, y'all, some days I was going through. My aunt was here. She was here for like a week with me. I mean, she had to lift me up when I couldn't even lift my own self. I was crying, y'all, for days. I was crying for days. I lost weight. I had to take care of my son. He was going back and forth to school. I'm like, Lord, this is ridiculous. You know, this is a lot. Losing weight and all this stuff, you may think that, why how she losing weight and she praying for a man. Yeah, you can lose weight because 10 days ain't easy. I don't care what nobody say. 10 days not easy. Fasting for somebody that you love. You losing some of you may lose your teeth. You may lose your hair. But I lost weight praying and fasting for him. And some days I thought I was gonna lose my mind praying for him. But my aunt was here. She was when I was praying for him, covering him while he was in the hospital, my aunt had to pull back into me. Like literally, she had to pray over me. She had to help me to, get myself back together as well. Because I was going through it. I sometimes, I was struggling eating too. So, but I thank God for allowing me and my husband to get back together. It's an honor, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be with each other. This is something we asked God for. God brought us back together, and like I said before, learn how to share your money with one another. Also, pray for one another. If one of you that's watching me, you going through some things in your marriage, separation, divorce, you know, pray to God because I believe that God can restore it. You can be in that courtroom. This can be somebody's confirmation. You could be in that courtroom getting ready to have a divorce, and your partner can tell you, no, I made a serious mistake. I don't think we need to have a divorce because I love you. God favor can be on your marriage. If you really care about that person, if you want God to turn around, you have to also put in the work as well. God putting in the work, but we also have to pray and we also have to fast as well. So keep your head up, be strong, everyone, and just know that God is on your side. You have to fight for each other. You love that man, you need to pray and ask God to change his heart too. Ask God to change his heart. If you love him, ask God to change his heart. And that's one of the prayers that I prayed for my husband. Change his heart. Allow him to go to church. Allow him to put you first. Because back then, he wasn't talking about God. He was all in the streets. I'm going to the street, I'll be back. I go to the street, I'll be back. I said, oh, he going to be late. So prayer works. Prayers, it works. It's important. I mean, I tell you, back then, I talk about God. Hey, he hear it, but he ain't really listen to it. But I ask God, when we first started talking and when we really, really started talking when he got well, he was talking about God. I said, something is different about you. I knew it because I felt it through the phone. He loved talking about Jesus. It's like and I kept telling him, I said, every time we was talking, it felt like the first day I met him all over again. And next thing you know, months went by and we got married. God restored us. And I'm going to say this like this. God restored us when we was broken. And God put us back together, our family. Me, Andrew, and him, and plus Anita. God had restored us when we have been broken. And what I'm saying to you, God can restore you as well. About how long you... I fast for 10 days. I fast for 10 days. And
I'm sorry.
I had fast for 10 days. And God, he he was saying some things while I was fasting. God was telling me things about him and stuff like that, things I needed to pray for. And God was telling me more about his health. So I was focused more on his health and making sure that he will recover, because I knew You know, sometimes when you hear people getting come on, stop it.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, y'all. I apologize. I'm human.
So I'm gonna get you. But I would just say, pray. And I'm gonna tell you this: it's not a specific number to pray. People like, oh my goodness, what number to pray? It's no specific number. I prayed 10 days because I wanted 10 days to pray for him. Ten
Amen.
days of completion. 10 days for God to answer me. 10 days I knew God would do something.
Amen.
So it's no specific number. You can fast 3 days, 10 days. It depends on what you both going through. If you're going through a lot, you need to press your way through fasting. Fasting have to be the key. You gotta tell God and just be real with him. Yes, we are. Amen. This one right here.
Hello. Let's say, somebody said, I
You
just
put
got the chills. I received the blessing. Thank you for confirmation. Oh, that's trigonometry. Latrell Freelance put a laughing face. I don't know what they laughing at because this is real.
no, they
Uh,
laughing the way I said that. I was saying
oh, okay,
something.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. She can be funny sometimes. You're both so God ordained. Thank you. Let me say this. God has truly restored us. I'm gonna say my wife is more so God ordained than I am. Like I said, I'm a street dude. I'm still working on myself every day. God understands that, man. God have a wonderful relationship, but my wife does keep me in tune with God. She does. She helps me to keep myself on track and keep my mind right when it comes down to God. You know, so I will say that definitely. I'm trying my best, but she keeps me there. Without her, I would not be the man I am, and I would not be able to continue to stay on track. Trigonometry said, "Did you know ahead of time your request, or God put on your heart your request?"
I was actually fasting. What I did was, before he called me and told me he was getting heart surgery, I was already fasting before he even said all that. So God prepared me because all I knew was, I don't know if y'all remember when I was on the live and I was like, something don't feel right. I was feeling sick on the live. And I just knew that God wanted me to fast, but I didn't know what to fast for. So my aunt, she came over here. She said, I can come over there Friday. And, I think he called me. I think you called me Saturday, and you said they getting ready to do the heart surgery, and I was already
I love
fasting.
y'all conscious. Go ahead, babe. You
I was
continue.
already fasting for 10 days. It was already scheduled. God already prepared me. I was going through some stuff with my son, going through some stuff within myself, and I needed strength from God. And then He put on me. I'm getting ready to get heart surgery and lung surgery. I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm going through my own situation, his situation, and my son, and trying to deal with parenthood. It was just a lot on me. So it was already prepared. The fast was already prepared. God prepared me for what was coming, which was his surgery, me dealing with my life issues and my son, and God restored it. God made everything. He make it happen for a reason, and at the end, we together.
Yes, yes. We're definitely together now, and God has definitely put us in a, good position. And like I tell y'all, she said, Latrell said, "I love y'all conscious, Ashley. Y'all
Thank
family
you.
some things." Ashley said it's funny. Yeah, my bad, Latrell. Thank you. We love you too. We love all y'all who are viewing us right now. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate those who support my wife, Latrell. Please forgive me. Sometimes I still got the streets in me, so I tend to turn back into trouble with the old me sometimes. I'm still working on being a better person. That's why I reacted so quick and said, I don't know what you laughing at, but this is real. I'm sorry, I apologize about that. But I love y'all. I love y'all too. I appreciate y'all and those who support my wife. But yes, God has restored us. Like I said, I love my wife. I wouldn't trade it for the world. To be real with y'all, marriage is not easy. Like,
No.
don't allow me and her coming on this camera to make y'all think like this is an easy love story because it's not. We're working through our problems every day. We work to stay together every day. It takes a lot of prayer, it takes a lot of faith in our marriage, and a lot of communication for us to stay together and to continue to grow and to continue to go forward. Because sometimes we go through our ups and downs. Sometimes we hit our roadblocks. We not gonna come on this camera One thing about us, we real. We not gonna come on this camera in front for nobody. We keep it real with y'all. You know, and I'm like I said, I'm always gonna tell y'all like it is, and so is my wife. So sometimes we do, go through the ups and downs and stuff, but we make it work. Without God, we can't be where we at right now, and we know without God, we can't have the future that we're trying to have. So every day, we're thanking God every day for what we do have and what we got going on. But you, the Trail Freeman said, "Thank y'all for the truth." You're welcome. So to those who's watching us, we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all for joining us today. I thank y'all for listening to me as long as y'all got to listen to me. I appreciate y'all letting me in, taking me into y'all hearts. This is my wife channel, of course. This is what she do. I don't do this, but I thank y'all for coming in and listening to me. I love y'all. I'll see y'all again.
Okay, thank you. God bless you all. Have a great, safe night. We appreciate you. Stay tuned to our videos. Make sure you turn your notification on. God bless you all. Have a great, beautiful night. And just be encouraged. Go watch the video over. You can learn some things. Take some notes as well. We love you. God bless you all. Y'all can tell I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, we gotta get to the kids. We gotta get to the
I'm
kids.
tired a little bit.
Gotta get to the kids. Put the kids down for bed. You know how it go when you parents. Gotta put the kids down to bed. We
The
love
next
y'all. Thank you.
The next live is Monday. I may get back on here tomorrow. We may get back on here tomorrow. But my live is next. It's actually this Monday that's coming up. Why you do Yeah. we having a live on Monday. But he won't be on there with me. It would just be me. Me and him, we may get on here tomorrow. Depends on how the
Maybe.
day is. It
We
may-
got, we got, we love y'all. We gotta get to our children. We got
Yes.
children, and our kids been real patient. We gotta get to our kids. We gotta put them down for bed. It's about bedtime.
Yeah, it's 8:43, you know. Yep. Over here, 8:34. Time is winding up. So take care. Have a great, safe night. God bless you all. Thank you. And stay blessed. We have more videos on relationship, marriage, and just different topics. Make sure y'all turn that notification on.
Turn
Thank
it on.
you. God bless you. Good night.
Thank you for supporting us.